Trump and say, well, Alberta's feeling vulnerable, Quebec's feeling vulnerable, British Columbia's feeling vulnerable. How can I exploit that?
Mainstream media just let the cat out of the bag. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we have one of the most unbelievable clips we've seen in a long time here. The media said the quiet part out loud, and it's very clear where their allegiance lies. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got an article here from Bloomberg being shared by Desiree. It says Canada's economy on track to shrink 0.5% in the fourth quarter. This is Carney's Canada. Now, to cover up stuff like this, Mark Carney and his team pushing a lot of tax money out to mainstream media, and he's also signing phony baloney deals, and that's what we have here as Mark Nixon sharing this one. Ottawa signed a memorandum of understanding to bring auto manufacturing to Canada from South Korea. This is another MOU. This doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's a whole lot of nothing.
Sources have told CTV News Ottawa has signed a memorandum of understanding with South Korea to bring auto manufacturing to Canada. The MOU, which is not binding, calls for closer industrial cooperation on the future of mobility.
She said it right there. It's not binding. It doesn't mean anything. This isn't a trade agreement.
This includes talks on the auto sector. It was signed by Industry Minister Melanie Joly and her South Korean counterpart last week. The talks, which are still in the early stages, involve the possibility of manufacturing vehicles or auto parts and batteries.
That's what we need, more EVs. A new MOU for an industry that's dying in Canada, not increasing in demand. If Carney pulls a rabbit or two out of his hat and gets a car company or two here to build, who's buying them? The US is the market, and they aren't going to let Carney dump their vehicles there. He was already told that. Yeah, there would be tariffs on those vehicles. Who's going to buy these vehicles? Canadians are going to be mandated to buy these EVs? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if that's Carney's agenda. Mainstream media in full effect. We've got this coming from America, New York Times. Canada's Conservatives give their Trump-inspired leader a second chance. Pierre Poilievre, a populist who led the Conservative Party to defeat last year, was retained as its leader on Friday despite his dismal poll numbers. This is funny. Like, the election was so tight, and they say, yeah, dismal poll numbers. Like, just complete propaganda filth coming from New York Times. But we're seeing it up in Canada as well. Got this one from Blacklock's reporter. Feds blame political actors. Heritage Minister Mark Miller, in a letter to MPs, says political organizers are using the internet to undermine Canadians' trust in public institutions. He did not identify any by name. Disinformation presents a serious challenge, Miller wrote. The Commons Heritage Committee, politically, ideologically, and financially motivated actors are leveraging digital platforms to spread false or misleading information, undermining public trust and eroding democratic discourse. This is unbelievable. These guys pay the media, push out their talking points, and they have the audacity to call all of us misleading and misinformation. Cabinet must promote Canadian access to trustworthy news, wrote Miller. The needs of protecting public interest journalism are urgent, he added. The minister did not elaborate. Goes on to say further down that Parliament in 2019 approved of a $595 million media bailout that currently pays federally approved newsrooms a yearly rebate up to nearly $30,000 per employee. Witnesses at 2022 hearings of a Heritage Committee said government involvement fueled mistrust. They're paying off the media, and now they're blaming influencers for misinformation. It's just absolutely wild. And this is going to get especially worse here with the next clip. With that, we've got this clip going around. This is the smoking gun. So I played a clip in a previous video of conservative Rachel Thomas reading out a quote from the media talking about supporting Mark Carney. Well, we've got the clip here. So I mentioned this in the previous video, and then we have this account here, Melanie in Saskatchewan. She had this on her screen or on her PVR, and she rewound it, filmed the screen of it, and so then I downloaded it. I cleaned up the audio, which is the version here on my X account. And just to set this up here, so we've got these two guys that come out after Mark Carney spoke at that event. And so this is the event here. And so after Carney speaks,
nous permettent d'imaginer the average episode has already been rewatched.
Talking about some show or whatever, but at the end of this, you can see there's nothing here. He just leaves. That is the source of the video. This has been trimmed on here because what you're going to see here next, this clip doesn't exist anywhere. I don't know if it was trimmed initially or what, but this doesn't exist aside from a PVR and a TV.
The Prime Minister know that every person in this room and the 180,000 people who work in this industry have your back, just as we know that you have ours.
Little head nod from this guy too. This is one of the most outrageous clips I've heard in a long time. Just the outright admission of supporting Mark Carney because they're getting taxpayer money to do it.
180,000 people who work in this industry have your back, just as we know that you have ours.
just as we know you have ours. Wow. This is just unbelievable. And this is absolutely breaking the internet right now. So if we look, it's all over the place. CBC Watchers got it, Ryan Garrettson. But look at this. This is my homepage here. I'm going to scroll down. Look at this. These are all different accounts posting this. Look at this. You just keep going down and it just keeps popping up. There it is again. It's everywhere. So I spent quite some time trying to find the original source here. Big thanks for Melanie for recording this, putting this up and tagging me on this. So I got eyes on this. This is just straight up admission of helping the government here. I mean, this should be against the law.
You sometimes hear about liberal bias in the media these days, how they're constantly letting our government off the hook for no good reason. Frankly, I think that's insulting. It's clear that they let us off the hook for a very good reason, because we paid them $600 million. You don't get stellar headlines like these without greasing the wheels a bit.
But that's not all. Look at this. We've got another one here. So as this guy starts off, this should be illegal. Like, what do we say with this stuff anymore? CTV reported the Conservatives had record donor contributions and that the Liberals had doubled their contributions, then proceeded to provide a link here to donate to the Liberal campaign. So you can see here, Conservatives, $48 million. As it said, record fundraising in 2025. Liberals saying they broke their own record, $29 million. And this link went to the Liberal fundraising page. That's right. They've changed the link now because Conservatives having outrage over this. They're trying to support the Liberals. This is just sick what they're doing. So we've got Mr. Bench posting it here. So they got caught with the article. Initially, they wrote surprise leadership review win by Poilievre. The link was going to the Liberal page. Now they've changed the link to a Nanos page. The media is caught again here. They're caught red-handed. How many times does this have to happen? This country is so corrupt. We basically have North Korean style propaganda here. Going over to the original source article here. So this is written by Spencer Van Dyke. And you can see this was published January 30th. And now it's updated on February 1st. And just look at the photos here. We can see there's a hyperlink here. It's blue. We scroll down to the bottom here where that is. It's right here. And we can see the Liberal Party released annual fundraising numbers last week. I believe that was the text. Fundraising numbers last week. There's no more hyperlink. They removed it. This is Spencer Van Dyke. This lady here. It's definitely time to add Spencer to the list here. Welcome to the Moose Chart, Spencer Van Dyke. CTV. We got an armada of them on CBC on here. I'm going to start tracking individuals who seem to not put out honest information or do shady stuff like this. So we've officially added her little trickery to the Moose Chart here. Now here's a video example, CBC Watcher sharing this clip here of Rosemary Barton and crew defending Mark Carney for not getting a deal with Donald Trump. Are we surprised?
Our impressions of the fact that this conversation is happening as the president continues to do what he does. And surely, you know, someone is watching this and saying, oh, well, look what's happening here. There's some friction inside Canada, and maybe there's opportunity. I mean, that seems like the exact wrong message we want to be sending.
That's exactly it, isn't it, Rosemary? I mean, what do bullies do? They look for weakness. They look for cracks, and they try to pry those open and play sides off each other. And as we head into these talks, if Mr. Trump or his, chief negotiators could say, well, Alberta's feeling vulnerable, Quebec's feeling vulnerable, British Columbia's feeling vulnerable. How can I exploit that? How can I make things difficult so that Mr. Carney is going to have to make choices that will hopefully keep his country together? Conversely, it puts Mr. Carney's back up against a wall, right? And I'll take sort of that third rail of trade negotiations, the supply managed sector and the dairy sector. That's a huge irritant to the United States, the extent to which we control our own, management of the dairy industry. And there's been a lot of calls from the U.S. to change that, to give American producers more access to that. Well, if Mr. Carney was prepared to put that on the table in any way, that would light a fire, a keg under, powder keg under Quebec separatism. And so it becomes very difficult for both Mr. Carney, I think, and the premiers to find a common path forward on trade. There's going to have to be a give and take with America, but then the political domestic repercussions of that give and take might be bigger than they would ordinarily be if other provinces are feeling weaker.
Yeah, but Carney's not going to do that. There's no way Carney's going to do anything that negatively influences his political career. He doesn't care about Canadians losing jobs. There's not a chance Mark Carney touches supply management, though. There's way too many ties. I mean, Marc-Andre Blanchard, Carney's chief of staff, and Michael Sabia, the clerk of the Privy Council, both have histories at the CDPQ. Casse, which is invested in, as we see from their 2024 annual report, in Brookfield, in 3 different Brookfields for millions of dollars. CDPQ is wrapped up with Brookfield, Carney wrapped up in Brookfield, and these guys, Carney's buddies, wrapped up in the CDPQ PQ. Marc-Andre Blanchard here getting his variable compensation. I pulled this right off their annual reports for years afterwards. He just quit last year, so he's still got a couple years of this compensation he's still going to get. There's no way they touch supply management. For those reasons, also politically, there's just not a chance. And I'm sure there's some way to negotiate around this, but clearly Carney wants the boogeyman for the election. But that's not all. We've got CBC to talk about as well. So we've got more Epstein files. People are going through this. We've got Canada Proud posting this one. Newly released documents from Epstein reveal invite from Jeffrey Epstein to attend a dinner in Edmonton with an employee of CBC News Edmonton in November 2009. A special 5-course meal. I would love to see you bid on it. Please feel free to forward this email along to any bidder types you know who would love to eat great food for a good cause. Auction ends soon. This Thursday, 3 p.m. Regards, somebody at CBC News Edmonton. Interesting that's in old Joffrey Epstein's, I was going to say Eggstein's emails there. Yeah, so I can in fact say Epstein's name now. I've had some of the censorship lifted on my channel. I still can't show stuff that's going on in Palestine. I figured that one out recently. And we've got another one here from CBC Edmonton. This one's got the name at the top. Jeffrey Epstein, gvacation@gmail.com is his email that we see throughout a lot of these Epstein files. This is going from, once again, CBC News Edmonton to Jeffrey Epstein. Hey Jeffrey, how are you? I thought it might be fun to send you this. I'm hosting a dinner at a really great restaurant here in Edmonton for charity, and I thought, you never know, Bush was just here, maybe you'd book a dinner in Alberta to use whenever you want. I know how much you love restaurants. Last year I raised $2,000 for a lunch or two, and this is dinner for 4. 100% of the proceeds will benefit the United Way, Sign of Hope, Christmas Bureau of Edmonton, etc., etc. Why are they directly messaging Jeffrey Epstein? Who is this? We've also got this photo of Rosemary Barton and David Cochrane going around. I believe Tamara Leach took this photo while Pierre Poilievre was giving his speech, and he was giving his speech on this side of them. So they turned their back to Pierre Poilievre. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing. And then Cochrane and Barton wanted this photo to get taken down. I guess they saw it while this was going on live. It's just such disrespect. You're at a convention, the leader's giving a speech, and you're not even watching. That's not all. We've got Justin Trudeau in these files. In 2017, Jeffrey Epstein emailed an Austin Hill about his island being okay. Epstein saying government is nervous. Austin replies, trying to get Justin Trudeau for a safe framework. It's not clear Trudeau did any wrongdoing here, but it does appear Epstein was trying to get close with Trudeau. So yeah, I mean, all the receipts here, once again, Jeffrey Epstein going to Austin Hill, create a safe framework. I'm not surprised we're seeing Trudeau's name in these files. I mean, really. West Point Grey Academy, that's not the only Trudeau news. Look at him here on the red carpet with Katy Perry, Captain Schmuck, just hamming it up. This is where he wants to be, on the red carpet, wearing all black. Nothing would suit his dark soul better than wearing all black. With all this, we haven't heard much from Trump these days, but we do have this.
Sir, do you think China's going to get their money back for all the money they lent to Venezuela?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but I'll tell you what, China is welcome to come in and would make a great deal in oil. You know, we welcome China. We've already made a deal. India's coming in, and they're going to be buying Venezuelan oil as opposed to buying it from Iran. So we've already made that deal, the concept of the deal. But China's welcome to come in and buy oil.
I mean, really, this is what we should be doing. Just selling product like oil, gas, just straight up selling it. You guys need this product. We're selling it to you. Not making these dirty deals where our part of the deal kicks in a month or two, where the Chinese benefit happens immediately. Master negotiator Mark Carney is terrible at negotiating. Moving ahead, this is a wild video. This is coming out of North Bay, Ontario. Foreign delivery driver leaves his truck in neutral and nearly ends 2 women. The Indian diaspora claims Indians are unqualified to work these jobs. So what we're going to see is 2 women come from over on the left side and go behind the vehicle here, and well, you're going to see what happens when it's in neutral. So they come walking in there. This is what the Liberals have brought in our country. A bunch of buffoons here who don't know how to drive these vehicles. They're just handing the one license they have around to whoever's driving that day, and they're getting away with this stuff. They're bribing these training facilities, the licensing places, to be able to do this. This is ending people's lives. Immediate deportation. Like, just get out of here. But first, he should be working this off, pay this off, all the damage done, and then deport. We don't need this kind of stuff in our country. This is dropping our GDP. This doesn't help anyone. Not to mention nearly ran over these 2 ladies here. I have no words. Yeah, right into a diesel generator backup. Guess they won't be needing that anymore. Jumping over to the streets of Vancouver with Rebel News here, we've got Vancouverites march against Mark Carney's New World Order. They got some convoy signs in here as well. Against Mark Carney, Liberal government, against CCP. Trucker convoy, I can't see what that says.
Liberal rule.
New World Order, heading to communism. Respond to the bad times in Iran. Yeah, I think 32,000 people have been ended in Iran now. It's absolutely terrifying. No digital ID. And over in Kelowna, we've also got another one here. Daisy Media posting this. People protesting Mark Carney. Pretty sure this is conservatives. I trust God, not Carney, global WF elitist and his minions.
Big turnout so far in Kelowna.
Well, you can't read these ones, but definitely some conservatives out here.
I don't stand for that.
Pretty big protest here. So, I mean, this goes on for 2 minutes. A lot of people all the way down here. Canada, is this you? Some monkeys? A lot of patriotism out in Kelowna.